Imagine sitting here with me, face to face, and I tell you something that maybe no one has ever told you this clearly before. The words of a woman matter more than you think. Not because they are sweet or affectionate, but because many times they hide the truth about what she really feels for you. And here comes the important part. If you don't learn to listen to those signals, you could end up wasting years of your life with someone who never respected you, never valued you, and, even worse, never thought of you as her priority. Yes, it sounds harsh, doesn't it? But that's how it works. Men often fall into the trap of believing that love means tolerating, enduring, and justifying a woman's behavior. Even when that behavior clearly shouts that she no longer loves you or that she never truly took you seriously. And I want you to understand this once and for all. What a woman says, even if she says it in a casual tone or hides it as a joke, can often be the clearest proof that you should step away immediately. Now, why is it so controversial to talk about this? Because most of the time we are taught the opposite, that men should be understanding, patient, and always give chances. But tell me, until when? How many times will you keep listening to words that hurt your self-esteem and then act as if nothing happened? This is the most dangerous trap, staying with someone who constantly shows through her words that she doesn't respect you, while you still insist on being there. Let me tell you something that makes many people uncomfortable. A woman who truly respects you will never play with your emotions through her words. If she does, it's not because she was in a bad mood or didn't know what she was saying. Deep down, those words reflect what she truly thinks of you. And that, my friend, cannot be ignored. In this video, we're going to talk about 5 specific phrases that, if a woman says them to you, you need to open your eyes and walk away from that. Relationship. I'm not telling you to get angry, to shout, or to create drama. I'm teaching you to recognize patterns of behavior that destroy men's lives. The truth is, many end up trapped in relationships where they lose their dignity, simply because they didn't know how to interpret a phrase at the right time. And here's the shocking part. Women know perfectly. Well, the power of their words, it's no coincidence when she says something hurtful or compares you with others. It's not an accident when she throws phrases that weaken your confidence. It's a silent test to see how much you're willing to tolerate. And every time you accept it, every time you justify it, she loses a little more respect for you. That's why this video is so important. It's not just about listening to what a woman says, but understanding what it really means. And I want to make something very clear. You are not here to be anyone's emotional punching bag. You are not here to be the nice guy who smiles as if nothing happened. No matter what is said to him, you are here to be a man with dignity, someone who knows how to set boundaries and doesn't allow himself to be manipulated. So, listen carefully. If you have ever been told phrases that made you feel, if someone ever told you words that made you feel smaller, that made you doubt your value, or made you wonder if you were doing something wrong, get ready, because you are probably facing one of these warning signs. What I want today is to give you the tools so that next time you don't doubt it. When you hear one of these phrases, you will know that the right response is to stand up, turn around, and walk away. Because at the end of the day, life is too short to stay with someone who does not respect you. Number 1, you deserve someone better than me. Picture this. You're sitting with her, maybe in a cafe, maybe on your own couch, and suddenly, in a soft and almost innocent voice, she says, "You deserve someone better than me." In that moment, many men make the mistake of feeling pity. They think, wow, she feels insecure. She needs me to support her, to encourage her, to make her feel valued. But the truth, my friend, is very different. That phrase is not a hidden compliment, and it's not an act of humility. It's a warning. It's a disguised message that really means, I don't want to be with you anymore, but I don't have the courage to say it directly. This is where I want you to open your eyes wide. Because when a woman uses those words, what she's really doing is giving you a clear sign that she is no longer interested in the relationship. It's like a door half open, inviting you to leave. The problem is that many men don't see it. Instead of seeing the red flag, they see it as a challenge. I must prove to her that I am the best thing that ever happened to her. And that's when the trap begins. Why is this phrase so dangerous? Because it puts you in the position of an emotional beggar. It forces you to waste your energy, your time, and your love on someone who has already decided she doesn't want to be there And the worst part is that she makes it sound nice, as if it were for your own good. But let's be clear. If someone truly believes you are the best, they fight to be with you. They don't step back with disguised excuses. Let me be brutally honest. No woman who respects you and truly loves you will ever say that you deserve someone better. If she says it, it's because she's already looking for the exit. Or worse, she already has someone else in mind and needs an excuse to justify herself. Now, why do so many men get trapped by this phrase? Because it sounds sweet. It sounds like vulnerability. Men with good hearts tend to think, I should take care of her. I should show her that she is enough. And in that attempt, they lower their standards, accept excuses, and tolerate behaviors they should never accept. See it this way. When she says, you deserve someone better than me, what she's really saying is, I don't want to invest in you anymore. I want you to be the one to give up so that I don't feel guilty. That's the trick. She passes the responsibility of ending things onto you, so she looks like the victim and not the one who walked away. Do you see how dangerous this is? It doesn't just hurt your self-esteem, it also turns you into the bad guy if you decide to leave. But listen carefully. Walking away in that moment is exactly what you should do. Because if a woman wants to be with you, she will fight. She will value you. And she will never use vague phrases that plant doubt in your mind. So the next time you hear those words, don't fool yourself into thinking it's tenderness. Recognize it for what it really is. A disguised exit. And instead of staying, trying to convince her that you're the best, stand tall and prove that yes, you do deserve better. But not because she said it, because you know it yourself. Number 2. If you really loved me, you would do this for me. Imagine this scenario. She looks at you with that mix of sweetness and pressure in her voice and says, if you really loved me, you would do this for me. In that moment, you may not even notice it, but you just stepped into dangerous territory. It seems like a simple romantic phrase is actually one of the most powerful tools of emotional manipulation. And I want you to understand this clearly. When someone conditions your love on what you do or don't do, it's no longer about love, it's about blackmail. Because true love is not measured in forced tests or sacrifices that go against your dignity, but this phrase hides itself as if it were a test of commitment, when in reality, it's an exam you can never pass. Think about it. When she says, if you really loved me, what she is doing is setting a psychological trap. She puts you in a position where any answer makes you lose. If you accept, you sacrifice your freedom and your boundaries to please her. If you refuse, she has the perfect excuse to say, see, you don't really love me. Suddenly, the relationship stops being a space of respect and turns into a cage where she dictates the rules. Now ask yourself, why would a woman use this phrase? Very simple, because she wants to test how far she can push you. She wants to see if your need for validation is so strong that you are willing to do things that are not right for you. And if you fall into that trap, she will push further. Every time at first, it may be something small, a favor, a little sacrifice. Then it becomes something bigger. Your priorities, your time, your money, your dignity. And here's the ironic part. The more you give in, the less she respects you. Because even if she doesn't say it out loud, deep down she knows you are no longer acting like a man with boundaries, but like someone who is afraid of losing her. An attraction cannot survive where there is no respect. When someone puts conditions on your love to believe in it, it means they don't really believe in you or in the relationship. What they are looking for is not love, but control. And when you hear this phrase, your reaction should not be to justify it or to rush to prove something. Instead, you need to stop and ask yourself, do I really want to be with someone who measures my love with blackmail? Men who understand this know that respect is more valuable than any forced proof of love. Real love is shown through freedom and trust, not through emotional pressure. That's why every time you hear, if you really loved me, you would do this for me, don't take it as an invitation to prove yourself. Take it as a warning, a red flag telling you this is not love, this is manipulation. And once you understand that, your decision should be clear. Don't get trapped in psychological games, because in the end, a man who respects himself never has to prove his love under conditions. Number 3, you are too sensitive. Not everything is about you. Think about it for a moment. How many times have you felt that your emotions don't matter, that what you say is ignored or even mocked? That feeling of speaking and hitting a wall, that discomfort you feel when you express something that bothers you. But instead of receiving understanding, you get a phrase that cuts like a knife. You're too sensitive, or worse, not everything is about you. When you hear that, something inside you breaks. Because they're not just telling you that your feelings don't matter, they're also making you doubt yourself. You start wondering if you're really exaggerating, if maybe the problem is you. And that's when the silent erosion of your self-esteem begins. The harsh truth about these phrases is that they don't sound violent. They don't sound serious. They even seem harmless. But in reality, they are some of the most damaging because they attack the deepest part of who you are. Your ability to feel, your right to express yourself, your need to be heard. Little by little, you learn to stay quiet, to swallow what you feel just to avoid hearing again that you're being too sensitive. And here's the truth many men don't want to face when someone constantly invalidates what you feel. They are showing you they have no interest in understanding you. It's not about being strong or weak. It's about respect. Every human being deserves for their emotions to be taken seriously. If that doesn't happen, what you have left is a relationship where one speaks and the other doesn't listen. Think about what it feels like to live like that. You hold back what you think, you doubt your own judgment. You question yourself every time something bothers you. In the end, you lose your voice. And when you lose your voice, you lose your power. And when you lose your power, you're no longer yourself within that relationship. The most dangerous thing about these phrases is that they turn what should be a relationship built on trust into a space of constant insecurity. Every time you want to speak, your mind reminds you. They'll just say, "I'm exaggerating." So you choose silence. And believe me, nothing kills a relationship faster than forced silence. Now, I want you to feel this with me. Your emotions matter. Your thoughts matter. If something hurts you, you don't need anyone's validation for it to be real. The fact that you feel it is already enough. And if someone insists on minimizing it, it's not because you're too sensitive. It's because that person doesn't want to take responsibility for what they are causing. This is where you must be firm. Don't allow anyone to make you feel small for expressing what you live through. Don't accept phrases that disguise indifference as maturity. Because at the end of the day, a man with dignity does not stay where he is not respected. Number 4. My ex never did that. My ex was different. Listen carefully, because this may hurt a little, but it's necessary. When a woman compares you to her ex, she is showing disrespect both to you and to the relationship you share. Saying things like, "My ex never did." That, or "my ex was different," is not just a simple opinion. It's a direct hit to your dignity. This is where I want you to open your eyes. Many men, when they hear this type of phrase, react in 2 ways. Either they get angry right away and end up in endless arguments, or, and this is even worse, they try harder to prove that they are better than that ex. Do you see the mistake? In both cases, you lose one. You lose your calm and clarity. In the other, you lose your value because you start playing a role you should never accept, competing with a ghost from the past. Here comes the critical truth, and I want you to take it with calmness. Many men confuse love with blind sacrifice. They believe that tolerating comparisons is a sign of patience, when in reality, it's a silent way of losing self-respect. Let me repeat this. Love is not about enduring everything just to avoid breaking the relationship. Real love has clear boundaries. If a woman compares you to her ex, it's not because you're not enough, it's because she hasn't closed a chapter of her life. And that's not your responsibility, nor is it something you can fix. This is where many men go wrong. They think that with more effort, with more proof of love, they'll erase those comparisons, but reality is different. The more you try, the more you reinforce that toxic dynamic. The advice is simple, but powerful. Wake up and remember that you are not a replacement. You are not in a relationship to compete. You are not in a relationship to compete with the memory of someone else. You are in it because you have your own value, your own identity, your own way of giving and receiving love. And if she doesn't recognize that, it's not your job to convince her. It's your duty to respect yourself enough not to let those comparisons destroy who you are. Keep this in mind. A man with self-esteem doesn't waste energy trying to outdo someone who already belongs to the past. A man with clarity understands that if the other person is still tied to her memories, she is not ready to build anything real in the present. So the next time you hear a phrase like that, don't fall into the mistake of getting angry or the mistake of trying harder. Do something much more valuable. Stay calm, recognize the hidden message, and make a firm decision. Because in the end, it's not about being better than the ex, but about being conscious enough not to let anyone reduce your worth. I don't need you. Take a deep breath before listening to this, because it's one of the harshest phrases a man can hear from a woman. I don't need you. At first, it may sound like a declaration of independence, even something positive, because we all know that a person should have autonomy and not depend on anyone. But let's not fool ourselves. When this phrase is used in the context of a relationship, its real meaning is much deeper and more dangerous. What she's really telling you is, your presence here is not important. Your value in my life is optional. And that's a hard truth to accept. Because, let's be honest, we all want to be with someone who values us, who sees us as an essential part of their life, not as a replaceable piece. Now, I want to speak directly to you as a man. Many, when they hear this, react with fear. They think, I have to do more to show her that she does need me. And that's where they fall into the trap. Because genuine need in a relationship is not created through proofs or sacrifices, but through mutual respect, admiration, and real commitment. When someone tells you they don't need you, what they are really revealing is emotional detachment. And if you ignore it, you end up clinging to a relationship where only one of you is truly present. Here's a truth that may hurt a bit. Many men stay in relationships where they are treated like an accessory, not a priority. They put up with cold words, accept indifferent attitudes, and justify it by thinking, that's just how things are. Or, it'll get better with time. But time doesn't change anything if the other person has already decided not to value what you bring. So here's the advice, and I want you to take it seriously. Stop looking where you are not valued. A woman who truly appreciates who you are will never make you feel like an extra in her life. Don't confuse independence with indifference. It's healthy for a person not to depend on you for everything. In fact, that's good. It's but theirs. A big difference between being independent and making you feel unnecessary. Remember this. A healthy relationship is built when both people know that, even though they could live without the other, they choose to stay together because they value, respect, and add to each other. Not because one makes the other feel unimportant. So if you ever hear this phrase directed at you, don't ignore it. Don't sugarcoat it. Take it as a clear warning. You are not there to be tolerated, nor to fill an empty space. You are there because you deserve to be chosen every single day. And if she doesn't understand that, then you are the one who needs to open your eyes and make the decision to walk away. Because in the end, what really matters is not just being with someone, but being with someone who recognizes your value. Many men think they understand women. But the truth is, most have no idea what's really going on in their minds. And here comes the controversial truth. A woman can love you and at the same time be testing whether you are strong enough to maintain her respect. Yes, it may sound harsh, but it's reality. Love is not always enough. If she senses weakness, insecurity, or lack of direction, she will start disconnecting emotionally, even if she still says she loves you. Here's the point many don't want to hear. A woman respects a man who respects himself much more than one who lives only to please her. And if that makes you uncomfortable, maybe it's because you need to reflect on your own behavior. Think about your own experience. Have you ever felt that a woman was pulling away from you without a clear reason? Have you noticed that subtle change in her attitude? Share it in the comments, because I want to read your story. I want to build a real conversation with you, man to man. And I promise, if you share, I'll be there to respond and build that connection together.